Hi, my name is Ty Preiniger. I'm a technology facilitator at Mesquite ISD, and this is our 9th lesson in the mapping of U.S. history. And it's all about Andrew Jackson and the events that kind of took place here in the U.S. while he was president. So what I recommend is to go to ushistory1to1.weebly.com and go ahead and grab our handouts, and let me share with you what those look like. Hopefully this will work. So it looks like this. This is our one-pager, our instructions for kids. And it is available on the website. It gives the instructions, and it also gives some essential questions that go with our lesson to make sure that our TEKS and objectives are covered for Andrew Jackson. And then you'll need to make your way to Google My Maps. And I've already added the next layer. I've also already mapped these things for us. So I'm just going to overview what they are and what your kids can do with these markers and with these lines. So the first thing that we mapped is the Worcester v. Georgia court case. And I intentionally left the box empty because once you have taught what happened during that court case or given the background, what you can do is you can have students respond to if they feel like that court ruling was fair, was not fair, or what they would have done. How could they have enforced the ruling of the Supreme Court? And so again, they can add that there. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and add a picture and see what we can find. So here's a PowerPoint slide with some notes that might give us some additional information that your kids could find. Let's see. Looks like that one isn't going to save, so we'll have to find another one later. All right, the second thing that I want us to map is the tariff of abominations. You can click on that over here. And what I've done is I've copied some background information that was available on our instruction page. And so what this tariff was is it was designed to protect northern industry so that hopefully we would not have to rely on other countries for their goods. And so Congress passed this tariff that would make imported goods extremely expensive. And the North, the industrious North, was all for that because it really made people look to them for those goods. But the agricultural South did not like it at all because when they were trading with other countries, say cotton for other goods, those other goods that came in were a whole lot more expensive. And so it really hurt the South, or they felt that it would hurt the South's economy. So you can find a picture that goes with that. And what this led to was the idea of nullification. So in South Carolina, I've put this red X, and to nullify means to cancel. That's a big vocabulary word. And so I put a short description that talked about how South Carolina thought that they had the right to actually cancel this federal law that hurt them. And so that's a good discussion that you can have with kids too. Do states have the right, or should states have the right to cancel federal laws if they do not agree with them? You know, ask kids, what would happen if if in Texas we made it to where 16-year-olds could vote, but the rest of the country had to wait until they were 18, just to kind of give them an idea. And so we put that marker there, but then I added this zigzag line, and that represents the nullification crisis. So South Carolina, with John C. Calhoun, he was currently actually the Vice President of the United States. He was from South Carolina. He threatened to secede, or their state would leave the United States if the tariff wasn't lifted, or if it wasn't repealed. And so Andrew Jackson was in a very tight spot. You know, again, ask your kids, what would you do? You have a state who's threatening to leave the country. Do you let him go? Do you start that example for other states to follow? Do you compromise? Do you tell them tough, you have to pay it no matter what? So Andrew Jackson was faced with a decision. I'm sure you'll teach in class what actually happened. But this is huge because with South Carolina threatening to secede here, remember what's going to happen in a little over 30 years from this point is South Carolina will be the first state to secede from the Union for the Civil War. And so here we are more than 30 years out before Civil War, and we're already starting to see things that are dividing the country. So the last thing that I want to map is the Trail of Tears. And I know that a lot of time will be spent on that and as a result of that Supreme Court case. But I've linked a map for you to use in case you don't have one in your textbook. That'll show the trip that Cherokee natives took from northern Georgia to out west to Oklahoma. But after you draw the line, call it Trail of Tears, and I would add this iconic picture here locally. We have some assessments that always include that picture. And just kids need to know this basic definition, that it was the forced removal of natives west of the Mississippi River. So that would make room for other settlers to come to Georgia. Georgia wasn't very attractive with all those Native Americans there. So they definitely wanted to get rid of them. Andrew Jackson was definitely for that because he had a history with natives down in Florida who he did not like. So those are just a few things. If there's anything else that you can think of that would be cool to map for Andrew Jackson, please leave a comment, send me an email, hit me up on Twitter, whatever that may be, and we would love to get your feedback. So thank you. And remember, visit the website if you need any materials.